Why, hello. And welcome to the very first channel. You bleh. Hello and welcome to my very first video on my YouTube channel. Um, I'm the receptive, I'm an astrologer, a tarot reader, and a lover of all things strange and esoteric. I also co-host a podcast called the Oracle Power Hour. I give readings, I'm a Reiki master. I've been doing this work for a long time. And the new moon is in Aries at 27 degrees. And what better time to start something new? And in a very quick and dirty manner, like I am right now, because Aries, doesn't really plan stuff. Aries just kind of goes for it. And we've got 6 planets in Aries right now. So, you know what? I'm just going for it. I've been pretty active on TikTok and Instagram over the past, I don't know, whichever. But I love YouTube. And who am I kidding? This is actually where I watch most of my content. So here I am bringing you some content, some astrology content from my shed somewhere in Texas. Well, you'll be able to see. I'm in Austin. Anyway, let us talk about this chart, this new moon, which is exact tomorrow at 7:15-ish a.m. here in Central Texas. And yeah, it's a whopper. It's a doozy. I'm I really had to sit with this chart for a while because there was just so much to talk about with it. And I say that because I mean obviously that's just a lot, that's a lot of Aries energy. Obviously Neptune, Mercury, Mars, Saturn, got our little asteroid centaur friend here, Chiron, just to throw him in the mix. And of course, the sun and the moon together for this is a new moon at 27 degrees of Aries. Now, even just that alone, 27 degrees of Aries, we're talking about getting into the anaretic territories. This is a full moon, or excuse me, a new moon that has this culminating energy of fire and a lot of tension. How could you not be tense with this much Aries in the sky? And, when I looked at this chart, when I meditated on it this morning, the phrase, the floor is lava, came to mind because we're also coming into this applying Mars Saturn conjunction, which is just like lava. Mars comes in and says, "Oh, so Saturn, you like things to be solid. You like things to be, the four corners laid out. You don't like a surprise. Why don't we set that all on fire?" And Neptune is in there being like, yeah, I like, okay, yeah, sure, let's dream. Fire is very transformational. It's very intuitive, along with water. Those are kind of our intuitive sort of elements. And then we've even got Mercury in there that's just like, well, incendiary talk. And this is initiation energy. We are being initiated into another world right now. And when I looked at this chart, I was also really reminded of the astrology that we're going to have over the summer. And that is when Barbot's basket is going to be hitting us all come July. And this chart to me is melting away the past. It's melting away the things that we've held on to. It's melting away our preconceived notions. It's melting our minds. Perhaps it's melting our bodies. Let's hope not. Let's hope it's just our mentality. But it's asking us to transform. Hence why, for me personally, it's hitting my ninth house. I'm a Leo rising. So I thought, ooh, start a new channel. Why not? Quick and dirty. Just go for it. And I think that that is kind of what Aries is asking us for right now. It's saying to just go for it. You can't think too long with this kind of energy. You just have to go for it. The other image that came to my mind as I was looking at this chart, not only the floor being lava, and jump on the couch, get off the ground, keep moving because everything is melting. But also, I thought about, those people that walk across hot stones and that, especially when you're young, you're like, oh, it's going to get burned. But he doesn't. She doesn't. They don't because they just keep right on moving. They don't stop. So if you don't stop right now, you could really get some stuff done. You could really get some stuff initiated that maybe you can't even believe could be a possibility. Now, it's not to say that there's not other stuff going on with this chart, but let's face it, it is fire heavy. I mean, you know, that is about as Aries stellium as you can get. Maybe Taurus is down there, happily puttering away. Or, yeah, we got Venus happily puttering away in Taurus. We've got uh, a happy little Jupiter in Cancer as well. So I do love that the planets other than Uranus that are not involved here. I guess Pluto, little on the fence, but they are in happy places. We have Venus is, I believe, in her domicile there in Taurus. We have got Jupiter down in Cancer in its exaltation at its fancy hotel room, as Anne Ortley would put it. And when I saw Jupiter down there, I was like, well, there's the water in the chart. Kind of lonely, I guess, unless you count that North Node in Pisces. In this case, I feel like the Jupiter has more to say, but it's so far from the action down there. It's not really being that directly aspected. I mean, obviously we have a bit of like a very loose square going on, but to me, it was like Jupiter is like a kid at a barbecue splashing around in a baby pool, having a grand old time. And the kid looks up and sees that the party has devolved into this fist fight. Like the aunts, the uncles, the friends, the cousins, everyone is duking it out. Things have gotten heated. And Jupiter's just like, I don't know. So like, that's kind of maybe that gives us a little bit of emotional energy. But honestly, like it's all fight. And the feeling, if you have any feeling, it might just be that you are angry about something. I know I feel a little bit angry about things sometimes. In fact, a lot of the time. Also, just in my personal life, I have people that I'm very close to who this full moon will be hitting pretty directly. So that'll be fun for me. But yeah, what this is leading us to is that the Barbot's basket is coming, and the pieces, as in a chessboard, are being moved into place. One of the big pieces is our Pluto in Aquarius. It's up there already. It's at 5 degrees of Aquarius, which is almost exactly where it's going to be when the basket really comes into effect in July. And then we have another player who, right now in this chart, still in Taurus, Uranus at 29 degrees, the anaretic degree, which is, also kind of, oh, we're getting pretty close to anaretic degree with this current new moon. It's at its breaking point. And Uranus in Taurus has been around for 8 years now. Oh, it has been bringing the changes into the things that do not like to change because Taurus does not want to change. Taurus wants things to stay the same. It loves the comfort and the coziness, and Uranus has really been shaking that up, or it's been trying to. I always think of Uranus and Taurus as being like, all right, you have 8 years to move the mountain. You probably won't move the entire mountain, but perhaps you have taken some chunks out of it in the past 8 years, dynamited some decent holes. But that energy is going to shift once we have Uranus moving into Gemini, and that is taking place, I believe, April 25th. It's not far off. That is the next little chess piece that is coming into play. So right now, there is this sense that this aspect pattern is latent. And right now, all we can feel is that Aries resolve to do something. We don't know what. Saturn is not great at solidifying things in Aries. Saturn is confused in Aries. Like it wants to take control. It wants things to be structured, but the floor is lava. All of these planets are lava. We're in it. And Saturn is kind of melting into it as well. But we will taste it more and more. as we are moving into this next chapter. And, Andre Barbault, who was the one person who coined this basket, also a wonderful mundane astrologer. He passed away in 2019. So, he's one of the more like fathers, perhaps, of modern astrology, you could say. He also predicted the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, the fall of the Soviet Union, because he loved those Saturn Neptune cycles and following them. And when he saw this aspect pattern that is happening this summer, he said, I feel that this will be the birth of a utopia for humans. This could be the beginning of us really coming into a new phase in our human cultural, physical existence. And to me, maybe in some ways, this is like, I guess, maybe the final bit of the birth canal, because I don't know if you've ever given birth. I bet half of you, if not more, have. Maybe not, obviously only some people can. It hurts. It's pretty painful. It's very intense. It's incredibly transformational. And this is that transformational energy. So once we have Jupiter joining in, right now Jupiter is at, 17 degrees of Cancer, but it's going to move into Leo come late June of this year. And that is going to be when all of the pieces are in place for the basket, because Neptune's already there. Neptune moved into Aries, back in February, and it is going to be there for 12 years or so, give or take some change. And this aspect pattern is going to be going for a while. It's going to be exact in July. Will it herald in the new beginnings for humanity? We can hope. We can pray to whatever God or deity or belief or the universe that humans can figure this stuff out. It's always funny because I think, I'm an American, I'm in the US, and Americans, when they see things like utopia, are like, oh, never. Whereas it makes sense that like a Frenchman would be a little bit more open to like the idea of human revolution, because the French do enjoy a good revolution. You would think Americans would be a little bit more about that, since that is kind of how our country was formed. But, at the same time, the US has kind of been going through its Pluto return. Yeah, it's not exact now if you're going by the Sibley chart, but at the same time with this Pluto cycle, we are repeating that energy of the Revolutionary War and the aftermath of it and the forming of this country. So yeah, we're really having our shadow shown to us right now. And yes, the floor is lava. So if you know your own chart, I highly suggest looking it up. Just right here, I'm on astro.com. AstroSeek is another great place to go to look up your chart. Find what house Aries is in and see how that is affecting you. And with this kind of a stellium, it does not matter if you have any planets in Aries, because you are going to be feeling it in that sector of your chart. As a Leo rising, it's hitting my philosophy. It's hitting my, the religious space, the higher education. And that was kind of why I went to YouTube, because I guess philosophically speaking and morally speaking, I think YouTube gives us the ability to be a little bit more free with our speech than some of the other platforms out there. And I love to share astrology, and I can't help but be a little bit big with my thoughts and feelings, because I'm a Leo sun, I'm a Leo rising, I'm a Leo Venus. I also, and I'll talk about this in another video, I also happen to have the exact same chart as JD Vance, which is, it's a whole thing to dig into. And I will dig into it with you fully, because this is YouTube and I can go into a lot more detail than I'm allowed to with only 10 minutes or less to share on other platforms. So there you go. This is my new moon forecast. Again, initiate, make it happen, go for it. What do you believe in? Who are you deep down inside? And are you living that truth? Because this new moon is about stepping into your truth and living it. Because the truth that you are stepping into is the one that you will be taking into the future. The old you perhaps has melted away, and that is all right. sometimes that's how it's got to go in order for us to transform. And humans do not love change, but change is really the only inescapable thing that we have to deal with. You know, everything else comes and goes, but change, it doesn't. It's always here. And this new moon is transforming you. So take the energy, run with it, shoot your shot, start your YouTube channel as I am right now, and prepare yourself for more from me in the future. If you want to get in touch with me directly, you can find me at thereceptive.org. I offer tarot consultations. I offer astrology and tarot. I do distance Reiki. I do take clients locally in Austin if you happen to be here. And yeah, thank you very much. See you soon. And I hope that y'all have a very good one.